Hey, happy President's Day, you guys. I am so excited to reach out to you and touch base with you again. I've been off of social media for a while now, and I miss you. I don't miss the medium, and I don't miss the censorship and all that crazy stuff, but I really miss connecting with you. So I thought I'd give this a whirl and see if this is a way that we might stay connected and stay informed and be encouraged and keep each other brave and stalwart in our path. And so this President's Day seemed really appropriate for me to go ahead and try this. So as I'm celebrating my favorite president today, my favorite all-time president is Donald J. Trump, and you knew that. And so I hope that you're having a great day celebrating your favorite president. We are flying our Trump flag out there today, and it feels really great to have that back up. I wanted to start this off. Perhaps it would be helpful to you if you knew a little bit about my journey, about how I came to be so passionate this year about what I saw going on in the world. It started for me when COVID hit. Before that, I had been entirely blind to what was happening for real in our world, and I had like most of you, believed what I saw on the news. If somebody told me something I hadn't seen on the news, I would pretty much respond with, well, if that had happened, that would be on the news. And thinking back now, that just seems so absurd that I ever believed it so completely, and I would let it determine my worldview at times, and it would certainly control or influence how I voted, or any of the things about my life that it influenced. I resent today, but I'm fully awake now. And so I thought I would share with you my journey of how I became awake. COVID hit last winter, almost a year ago right now. We're in February now. So it's about a year ago that we started hearing about the coronavirus. And I was working at a church, and we were made to close our doors. And on that day, I came home, and while I was praying, I just had this deep conviction in me that what was happening in the world starting that day was the beginning of the end times, not the tribulation. When the tribulation hits, there will be nobody wondering whether or not this is it. It will hit with such force and such impact that you won't be wondering whether or not we're already in the tribulation. But these are the end times. I believed that then. I believe it today. So I prayed and I asked the Lord, if this is what is happening, if I'm correct in my feeling that this is indeed the beginning of the end times, Lord, I want to be used. I don't know if you want me to use World War II analogies, Anne Frank, protecting people that will be persecuted or targeted. I don't know if you want me to be General MacArthur and lead in battle. I don't know if you want me to be Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who preached and worked to save the Jews to his own death even. I didn't know what my role would be, but this was my prayer. And I encourage you to pray this today if you haven't already. God, show me whatever truth I need to know to fulfill the role that you have for me to play in these times. Now, I meant it, but I can't say that I had perfect faith that God would answer me as quickly as he did. That very day, I was reading Revelation because, of course, that's where I was focused, given everything I believed. And I zeroed in on a verse that I had never noticed before. It was Revelation 6:15. And I don't know why it stood out to me. I truly don't, except that the Lord showed me later. But in the moment, I was like, why have I never seen this? Why have I ever noticed it? Why is it sticking with me? It was about the kings and princes of this world fleeing and running to hide in caves to escape the wrath of the Lamb. It's notable, but it's not the most dramatic thing that you'll read in Revelation for sure. But it did stick with me to the point where I was speaking with a friend later that day, and she asked me if I thought this was the end times. And I said, you know, we're not quite there. We're not in the tribulation, but I believe we're leading up to it. I said, you know, we haven't seen that whole thing of princes and kings running into caves. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I go, I don't even know why I said that. It's just this verse is stuck in my head. About an hour after that, I received a text from a friend I had not seen in about 10 years. We're not close friends. I love her, but we hadn't stayed in contact. But randomly, she sent me this text with a link and an article to an article about deep underground military bases that were built during the Cold War to house our soldiers in case of a nuclear attack. They're huge, the size of shopping malls or small towns. Some of them are long caves, but some of them open up to huge areas. And the article was about their current usage, which is that they had been purchased or taken over by the very richest people in our world, the elite, the most powerful people, and they were being used in completely nefarious ways. And the article, and on any other day in my life, I would have dismissed as crazy talk. But every hair on my arms was standing on end as I realized God was showing me exactly what he had previewed to me in his word in the book of Revelation, that he had made that verse stick out to me so that I would recognize truth when I heard it later. So with that in mind, I started to dig and I started to do research, and I just asked the Lord to guide my journey, guide my research, guide my investigation, so that I didn't go down rabbit holes I shouldn't go down, see things I shouldn't see, but that he would indeed show me everything I needed to know to fulfill the role he had for me to play in these end times. So that's how I got started. The rabbit holes did go very deep. I'm sorry to say I did see some things that I don't think God probably would have wanted me to see, but he did allow it. So perhaps I'm wrong about that. Horrifying things about children and what has happened to them and what is currently happening to them, and why I'm fighting, because really it always for me comes back to the children. So I'm going to, when I post this video, I'm going to put links in the description of the video. So look for the links there, and they're going to take you to our private server, because as these videos get posted on YouTube, the censors are taking them down. So we're not posting things there. We're going to post things and give you access to our own video library so that you can look at these things and not have to spend an hour finding them on YouTube if they're there at all anymore. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Anyway, my research took me to Big Pharma, who literally has so much power and so much more control over us than you could ever imagine. It took me to politics. It took me to Hollywood. It took me to the music industry. And it took me straight to hell, frankly. So I'm not going to try to explain everything that I found, but I do encourage you to follow the links that I'm going to post and do this research for yourself. Even after watching the videos, don't believe them just because I say they're true. Go to a search engine like DuckDuckGo or something outside of Google or Chrome and look for yourself to find the truth. I don't want to replace the mainstream media with me and my voice. I want you to think for yourself. And that's what the Great Awakening is all about, getting you to think for yourself. We've been so lazy about how we come to what we believe. We even to sit in a church and be preached to, that can be a great thing. But if that's where your belief system begins and ends, you are missing out on knowing in your own heart the truth and letting God speak to you. So churches, the mainstream media, all the influencers in your life need to be replaced by you doing your own research, you finding out what's real and what's true, and confirming what you're told. And that will bring you to a full awakening. I just want to warn you a couple things. One of the other things that I prayed was, God, break my heart for what breaks yours. Be careful what you pray for, because your heart will break. Your heart will break. The evil in this world is so much darker and more evil than any of us ever could have imagined. And it will break your heart. So be warned, but be brave. And go there, get your heart broken, and get off your couch and know the truth, so you'll know why you're fighting. And on the days when your friends tell you you're crazy, and your family is mad at you, and your church might even turn their back on you, you'll know for yourself why you're fighting. So the reason I left Facebook, I thought I should touch on that as well, is that I did go to DC. The reason I went to DC is, in some ways, still unknown. I had this feeling, I woke up one morning with this feeling that I was supposed to go to DC on January 6th. And if you know me, you know our situation. Neither of us, my husband and I, have not worked since COVID. And God has been miraculously providing for us, but we don't spend money we don't need to spend. And so I certainly wasn't going to go to my husband and tell him that I thought I should go to DC. I just didn't have the nerve, and I didn't think it was wise even to spend that money. So I told God, if this feeling in me, this desire in me is from you, then I would ask you, God, to provide miraculously so that I could go. And that he was going to have to be really obvious, because I just didn't want it to come from me. I didn't want it me manipulating our finances. I just wanted God to make it really, really obvious. The next day, I was shopping. I was buying a gift for a last-minute Christmas gift. This was in December. And I was at TJ Maxx, my go-to. And a friend of mine that I have not seen in person since the 4th grade texted me. And she said she was going to DC, and that my posts on Facebook had kept her inspired and encouraged and brave, and she wanted me to come too. And she wanted to buy my plane ticket. I stood in TJ Maxx with tears rolling down my face, not because I was so excited to go to DC, but because God was making himself so very, very obvious. So when I went, I had another friend of mine go with me, and we had a great trip. People were singing the national anthem on our plane. It was absolutely the most inspiring. But I went with a full expectation that I was going to see huge bombs dropped, meaning informational bombs, that Donald Trump was going to address the crowd that day, and he was going to reveal all of the things that we had researched and knew as a crowd. 2 million people all knew. They're all awake. They're all there because they love our country, and they're determined to save it from socialism and communism and the evils of the cabal and all of those things. So you've got 2 million people there waiting for Donald Trump to acknowledge all of those things and shut down this crazy election, F-R-A-U-D. I'm going to have to spell that, because if you say it out loud, they take you down. So we were waiting for that, and it never came. It never came. I'd been to other rallies, and his speech on this given day on January 6th was, dare I say, boring. There wasn't much excitement, and there certainly was no incitement in that speech. And so when we walked on down to the Capitol, we weren't running, we weren't raiding, we weren't on a warpath. We were going there because we were hoping to be in the room where it happened, so to speak, when Mike Pence did the right thing, or when Congress stood up and did the right thing. And that didn't happen either. But if anybody tries to tell you that we were there to riot or cause mayhem or force our way into the Capitol, you know, I tell you the truth, there was none of that. We had seen Antifa. We had seen people in their MAGA hats. We'd been told beforehand that they would be there and that we would know them because they would wear their hats backwards, and so that they could identify each other. So we did see them. They had gas masks. They had backpacks. They had, what else? They had helmets. They had helmets. These are not things that MAGA supporters, MAGA people carry with them. We don't need them because we don't riot. We don't overturn cars. We don't set buildings on fire. We peacefully protest, or literally, it's more like a celebration when we get together. So the people that did do the damage and hurt people at the Capitol, they were not us. So all of my experience there was wonderful and inspiring, but disappointing because I didn't get what I thought I was going to get. So when I say I don't know why I went, that's the truth, because I don't think God wastes anything. I know he wastes nothing. And so I feel like the reason I was there is yet to be revealed to me. But if nothing else, it's so that I can tell you in all honesty what went on there, who was behind what happened there and who wasn't. So there's that. But on my way home, I stopped in Denver. We had a layover in Denver, and I had 53 notifications on my Facebook on the post of the pictures that I had taken and posted from people turning me into the FBI just for being there, calling me a terrorist, calling me all kinds of filthy things. It was unimaginable, the hatred that came my way from total strangers. I believe they were Facebook employees or bots because my settings on those days were for my friends to be able to see my posts, and they weren't public, yet strangers were able to come in and post on my wall links to the FBI and try to intimidate me. They were successful. And so my trust in Facebook and the safety there and the freedom there went right out the window. So as soon as I was able to download my profile, I got off of Facebook, and that's why I haven't been there since. Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyway, that's why I'm not on Facebook anymore. I encourage you all to check out some other social media outlets like Clout Hub or even Telegram. They're different. It's not like Facebook, but it's safer, I believe, than Facebook. Facebook is turning on conservatives, as is most big tech. So be careful out there. But anyway, just because I felt like it was time for me to get off Facebook doesn't mean that I have nothing to say. And it doesn't mean that God doesn't have a word for you, perhaps from me sometimes or through me. So today I just want to encourage you guys to stay close to the people that are coming against you right now. And I don't mean that in the sense of keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Nothing like that. What I really mean is that when the sleeping public, our friends and family that don't understand our passion, that don't understand why we're fighting, that don't understand our devotion to America, let alone Donald Trump, when those people, not if, but when they wake up, when the truth is fully revealed to them, they're going to need us. They're going to need us to be compassionate and understanding and patient, and they're going to need us to explain to them what they're seeing. They're going to need some hand holding. And I believe, especially as Christians, just because we're Christians doesn't mean that we don't have our feelings hurt, doesn't mean that it doesn't make us angry when people turn on us. I have certainly had people turn on me. I have had some people from my church decide I'm crazy, and a cult member. And I've had some of my family just straight up not understand and don't want any part of this truth. But I have to be here for all of them when it comes out. When they find the truth, when they hear the truth finally, they will need us, and they're going to need you. And so I would just want to tell you to guard your heart against anger towards them, against resentment, and against letting bitterness take root in your heart towards those people. It's a little bit like being mad at someone because they're sick. These people are asleep. They have been lied to, and they believed the lie, just like we did until the day we woke up. So where we go, when we go all, right? And we will fight for those that sleep until they wake up. And then we will be here for them when it's time. So happy President's Day. Hopefully I'll see you here again soon. Please text me or message me after you watch those links in the description below. I would really like to hear from you. Tell me you talk too long. Tell me you say too much. Tell me you wear too much makeup, or you need a little more makeup. But do reach out and let me know if this is a way you would like to stay in touch. And maybe we'll do live videos sometimes when we can talk and answer questions, and maybe we'll have guests on with me. I would really love that. But let me know if this is something you think that you would tune into every now and then. And we'll see what happens and what God does with it. I don't think he's done with Donald Trump. I know he's not done with America. And maybe he's not done with me. So hang in here with me, and we will chat soon. Thanks, and God bless America.